please, for the love of God, don't be one of those people who sets these gigantic goals in 2026, says they're going to make a huge change in their life, says they're going to do everything that they've ever wanted. And then once February comes around, they've already fallen off the wagon. Please don't be that person. If you don't want to be that person, then you're going to want to stick around and watch this video, because in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how I went from being somebody who always had these big goals and ideas, but never was able to actualize them, to actually being able to create a pretty cool life for myself. If you can see by the background, I live in a great place. I got a nice watch. I got a great team, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nick, run an online consulting company, helping sports coaches actually create their dream lives through coaching athletes online. And I see people all the time, they set these gigantic goals for themselves, whether it's a new year or a new month or a new week or whatever it is, people set goals for themselves all the time. And so few people actually ever achieve goals that they have for themselves. And after working with hundreds of people and setting goals myself and failing and trying and actually succeeding, I've really found that it comes down to a handful of things, okay? And the first thing is that most people just set goals completely wrong. Like they have no idea how to actually set a goal, right? I'll give you an example. I asked a client the other day, hey, what are your goals for 2026? They're like, yeah, I want to make more money this year. I'm like, awesome. That is a terrible goal, okay? Because making more money is like, sure, everybody wants it, but what does that actually mean? And when I learned about this framework, and you might have already heard of it, it's called the SMART goal framework, where they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Okay, when I hear I want to make more money, it's none of those things. Number one, it's not specific, okay? And so when you have these goals of I want to make more money, it's like, well, how much more money? Like $1, $2? Do you want to double your income? Right? And setting a yearly goal of 2026 takes the timely portion, makes it super easy. Okay? Another big mistake that people make with these goals, because they're not following the SMART goal framework, is that they're not realistic. Okay? I see so many people, like I had a client who last year was like, yeah, I'm about to lock in. Like he really wanted to go to the gym. He's like, yeah, I'm about to lock in. I'm going to go every single day. And it's like, this dude's mad inconsistent. You know what I mean? Like he's going to the gym every other week, maybe, or he'll go a couple days in a row and then he'll stop. And he's like, yeah, I want to go to the gym every single day. And I'm like, okay, like, dude, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's realistic. He's like, no, dude, I can't. I'm like, nah, dude, I really don't think it's realistic. And like, I don't think I'm, casting a limiting belief on you. You don't have the skill of going to the gym consistently. You haven't built that habit. So you saying that you're going to go 6 to 7 days a week, who, somebody like me, I go, 5 days a week on average. And I've been training for 14 years now. And you're trying to go more frequently than I go. Like, that's crazy, dude. Like, that is unrealistic, right? It's unrealistic to think that this dude was going to be able to go every single day. So what happened? He didn't go to the gym every single day like he said he was going to, because he went for a few days, things got a little bit difficult, he made this super unrealistic goal, and he had what's called all or nothing thinking, right? Where he goes 3 days in a row, doesn't go day number 4, beats himself up about it because he set an unrealistic goal. And then day number 5 comes around and he's like, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I already didn't go yesterday. I already can't hit my goal. Boom, right? Now he falls off the wagon. It's maybe a week in or 2 weeks in, all because he set the goal improperly, okay? A much better goal for him would have been like, I want to go to the gym once per week for the next 6 months on average, right? Let's say once per week, or not even on average. I want to go to the gym every single week for the next 6 months. It's like, that is such a better goal for him to set, because at the end of the day, most people are thinking so short term. They're thinking so short term that they think that they can just completely change their behavior and go from going to the gym never, or every other week, or a couple times a month, to every single day for the rest of, for the rest of your life? You're just gonna switch like that? Like, dude, if it was that easy, then everybody would be jacked. Everybody would be shredded. And like, being in shape wouldn't even be like cool. It would just be like like super normal because it was so easy. But that's not how it works, right? So we underestimate how much we actually can accomplish and how much our behavior actually can change, okay? And so people will fall into this all or nothing thinking because they set these super unrealistic goals. They think they have to make these gigantic changes, which is just not true, right? If he just committed to going to the gym every single week for 6 months, it's like, okay, maybe some weeks he goes 4 times. Some weeks he only goes once. But if he's going every single week consistently, he's building that habit. And I guarantee that by month 6, if he's going every single week, it's like he's probably going to be going, 3-4 times a week by months 5 and 6. But just because he was able to stay consistent with the habit, he built it up over time, right? Another thing, and this kind of goes into like attainable, right? If your goal is to, I don't know, let's say go to the gym 14 times a week, it's like, okay, you can, but like, think about all the other things that go into life. Like, unless you completely optimize your life around the gym and you're like, let's say a pro bodybuilder, you're probably not going to be able to go to the gym twice a day, every single day for years on end. Right? It's pretty unrealistic to think unless you dedicate your entire life to that one thing. So in that instance, that goal is probably not attainable. Or if you say like, hey, in the next 3 months, I want to go from a 225 bench to a 315 bench, it's like, that's really not like an attainable goal, right? Neither is it realistic, okay? So most people just miss when they set the goal. Or like measurable, we go back to the make money example. Right? I want to make money, or I want to make more money. Like, yeah, I guess it's measurable, but it's not really like specific, okay? Or if it's like, I want to get in shape. Like, how do we measure getting in shape? I want to be in better shape. Like, how do we measure that? Do you want to lose body fat? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain muscle? How much muscle, right? So these goals need to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely on a specific time frame. And so that way we can do number 2, and that's actually create a plan and a system in order to actually achieve that goal. Because a lot of people, like they say, okay, let's say they have a really good goal, right? I want to bench 315 by the end of the first quarter. Okay, awesome. If I just go in the gym and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna like lift some weights and hopefully it happens, what's the probability that I hit that goal? Probably pretty low. Because I don't have a specific amount of times that I'm going to the gym. I don't have a nutrition routine. I don't have a sleep routine. I don't have a way to like manage my stress. All of these things that are going to play a factor into actually benching 315. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it, right? So like what I did and why I'm going to bench 315 by the end of the first quarter is I have a plan that is progressive over time. And it's realistic and it's specific and it's measurable and it's attainable, right? That's why I'm going to be able to hit this goal. And I'm not sitting there thinking, I need to go to the gym 6 days a week or 7 days a week, every single day, can't miss in order to hit this goal, right? No, it's pretty realistic for me to be able to bench 315, especially with where I'm at right now, right? 295, 305, somewhere in that range. Like, yeah, it's not going to be easy. I'm going to have to be disciplined, but it's 100% possible for me to put 10 to 20 pounds on my bench in 3 months. People have put on way more weight in less time, right? So with that being said, I actually have a plan in order to get there. And I have a system that I'm following in order to get there. Now, when I say system, what do I actually mean by that? Well, most people in their life don't recognize that humans are behavioral beings, right? And by relying on willpower strictly, that is a losing strategy. Okay, relying on willpower strictly is a losing strategy. So in order for me to hit my goals of like, let's say benching 315 by the end of quarter 1, well, I probably need to eat really healthy food. I probably need to get really good sleep. I probably need to be in a caloric surplus. I probably need to have access to a gym where I can bench regularly and do all the accessories that I need in order to get my work in, right? So what have I done? I know exactly how much food I'm eating every single day. I know the amount of calories that I'm having, macronutrients, micronutrients, all that good stuff. And then guess what? When you look in my fridge, all that's there is the food that I need to eat in order to hit those goals, right? So I'm making it very, 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 very easy for me to stick to this plan. I'm not ordering all this different type of stuff and then asking myself, oh, what type of food do I need to eat today? No, I already planned it out. And then I order the food on a specific cadence, like every single, or like every 3 days, right? Whenever I run out of food, because I want to have my food fresh. So every 3 days I order new food, but I'm ordering the same thing every single time, right? And now I have a system that I follow. So that way it is easy for me to accomplish my goals. Because here's the thing, most people, they just make it really difficult for them to accomplish their goals. Like for example, if you want to lose weight and you're just hanging around a bunch of people that are fat all the time, like what's the probability that you get in shape too? It's almost certainly zero, right? Or if you have a bunch of junk food in your fridge or in your cabinets, like what's the probability that you cheat on your diet when it's right there? It's 100%. And people will cheat on their diet with food that they already have access to and then be confused when they don't hit their goal or when they cheat on their diet. They're like, why would I do that? It's like going to a bar as a recovering alcoholic and expecting yourself not to drink. Like, that's crazy. And then the alcoholic goes home, they're like, wow, like I can't hold off the booze. It's like, yeah, well, at that point, you might as well chalk it up as soon as you walked in the bar, right? If you wanna stop drinking and driving, for example, you should probably get rid of your car, right? It's easier to get rid of your car than to stop drinking. Stopping drinking is a whole other thing. But to not drink and drive, the easiest way, get rid of your car, right? So what is the point that I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is so many people have goals. So many people have things that they desire. But very, very, very few people are actually able to create these systems in their life and actually create a plan around how they're going to get to their goal. And the last thing that the reason why most people don't achieve their goals is probably the most common. And it's because I touched on it earlier. They're thinking so short term, right? They're thinking so short term and they want these like short term outcomes. They want this dopamine hit. They want the instant feedback. They want the instant result, right? And when you're focused on the instant result, you take your mind off of the inputs that are actually going to generate that result that you're looking for. And really what you need to do is you need to make the goal the input of, okay, let's say I want to bench 315. Like, what are the inputs that I need, right? I need to eat this many calories. I need to get this many workouts. I need to hit this many reps. I need to, right? It becomes a math equation. And because it's very clear, because it's laid out, because I've optimized so much of what I can possibly optimize to work in my favor, the goal is going to become inevitable, right? But if I just said like, oh, I want to bench 315 by the end of January, or if I tried to rush it and tried to hit 315 by the end of 2025, like I would rush the goal, maybe not hit it, and then not try again, because that's exactly what I did in the past. Was I would try and rush hitting the goal, get this short-term outcome, push, not manage my fatigue, blow out. And then if you know anything about strength training, like you can progress linearly up until a certain point, then you will regress actually because you're not managing the fatigue that your body is accumulating over time, right? And because I was so attached to these outcomes, right? Or making a certain amount of money. You might cut a corner to make that type of money in order to hit this goal in this specific amount of time, because you make the goal the big output rather than making the goal the input and focusing on the inputs, so that way the result is just a byproduct of the inputs that you are putting in every single day. So that's why most people can never accomplish their goals. That's why most people are average, because they don't know this stuff. But if you set really good goals, you set up a plan and a system in order to accomplish those goals, and you think long-term with it and focus on the inputs rather than needing immediate outputs, immediate validation, immediate outcomes to continue on that path, right? If you do those three things, then you can accomplish anything you want in life over a long enough time horizon. But the only way that you can ever get what you want is to start today and never stop. So happy Friday, y'all. I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this. Catch you in the next one. Peace.